Hi, Professor Breckeisen here, and welcome to CIN345 Production 2. So this is a really great class and one of the milestones that you're going to be kind of taking here at Missouri Western as you're moving towards your thesis project. So this will be a lot of fun. This class is going to feel somewhat kind of like parts of Production 1 did, meaning that you are going to work on a couple of projects similar to the way you did in Production 1. But hopefully now that you've had some specific classes geared towards some of the disciplines in cinema, you're going to be able to get a little bit deeper and a little bit more personal and a little bit more professional with your film in this class. So this video is intended to show you the syllabus and kind of go through Canvas and give you an update and an idea of what to expect for this class. This counts as your orientation for this class, so we won't do this the first day of actual class. So let's get into the syllabus. So you'll see here, first of all, that all the information here at the top does not reflect what's happening for your class this semester. This was all the way back in fall of 2020, so this information is going to be different. So please look at the Canvas, or the syllabus inside of Canvas to know exactly the dates, times, and things like that. This is just what it would look like, and this video was taken a long time ago. But what doesn't change is the information down here. So for this class, the only thing that I'm requiring is Adobe Creative Cloud. Because of After Effects and Premiere and Audition and all the other programs that you might use for your production in this class, I make it mandatory because I want to be able to allow you to be able to use any financial aid if it's available for you to use that financial aid, because that's a required thing to have. You are by no means beholden to get it if you don't want to. I have it on the required for those students who need to use it for their financial aid so that you can have some help paying for that. But if you're using DaVinci or HitFilm or Final Cut or Vegas, I don't care what you use for your editing, Blender, GIMP, all the other great freeware programs that are out there to accomplish these things, that's great too. A lot of those are free, so this one's available for those who that need it. The other thing you're going to need is an external hard drive for this class. You probably already have one by this point, but I would like to encourage you to look at your space and how much is available. At a minimum, I think 15 gigs is going to be about what you want to allot for this class, and that really depends on what kind of videos that you're creating. So if you're using raw 4K 10-bit, 12-bit, 422 formats, you might need a lot more space than 15 gigs. So be mindful about your process, but if you're using something simple like a H.264 DSLR, 15 gigs is probably going to get you where you need to be. Just be mindful that you're going to have what you need. Of course, notebooks and tablets, or tablets and some kind of writing utensil is going to be needed for notes, because you'll be taking a little bit in this class. It shows on this syllabus that we're looking at right now, the prerequisites for this class is none. That's because while this was being created, we're going through some changes in the prerequisites, but there is definitely prerequisites for this class. Screenwriting to be one of them, plus a couple other ones. We're still trying to finalize those. So at the time of this recording, that just says none, but when you look at your syllabus inside of Canvas, you will see that there are prerequisites. You can read the course description here and the objectives on your own. I'll leave it like this so as I'm talking about this class if you want to look at that at the same time, or you can pause and read it, that's fine too. But this class is a little bit different. I shouldn't say a little bit different, it's absolutely different than most other classes that I teach. So let me go into detail exactly what you should expect as we kind of get involved and get into this class. First of all, this class is divided into really two major parts. You're going to be working on a script that you bring in from screenwriting that you wanted to make in this class, but you also are going to work on your thesis project script in this class as well. So there's kind of two veins that you're going to go through, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But on both of these veins, you're going to be focusing heavily on the pre-production side of this class. So all of the lectures, most of the lectures, everything we're going to talk about for the most part in this class are going to be pre-production heavy. You should have cinematography cinematography already done, audio, and a lot of other classes that focus on the actual making and production of films, plus the post-production side. So we're going to be really creating and content and grilling what we're going to need for pre-production on this side. Now, when it comes to your thesis project, that's kind of where it stops, and we want to go real deep, real professional into pre-production. With your the other project you're going to do in this class, the film you're going to make, you're actually going to go beyond the pre-production to producing and finalizing that film. So that's what these pre-production, production, post-production outcomes are talking about here, but and how they apply. So the pre-production is going to apply mostly to the thesis, or only to the thesis, but all three are going to apply to your other one. So this class is going to be very similar in feel to production 1, and in that you brought a script in and you're going to work on this in a team. So that team is going to be comprised of 3 to 6 members, kind of depending on how this class is designed or how many students are in this class. And you're going to choose amongst yourselves in that group one of the scripts that you're going to bring in from screenwriting to work on for this class as a minimum. So if you guys only have time to work on that one project and turn that in at the end of the semester, then you're going to be fine as far as meeting the requirements for this class. You can, if you like, and if you can find the time and do this smartly, you can do more than one project if you'd like. So if there's 2 scripts in that team that you like, you can do more than one script. But only one has to be done all the steps through for this class. And whatever you choose at the beginning, that's the one that we're going to go through to the very, very end. You can just make the other one on your own because you're just that excited about filmmaking, right? But that's the only requirement that I have. I'd rather you have one good film than a whole bunch of kind of thrown together real fast films that you only get to spend a couple weeks on because you all are working on everybody's films. You should be doing that anyways, but for this class, it's just the one. So if we come down here, you're going to see the grading procedure, or policies and procedures for this class are very, very different. This does not use the same breakdown. I don't use the same Bloom's taxonomy for this class. It just doesn't really apply. This is, if we're going to look at the triangle for Bloom, this class is all in those middle 2 columns. This is a practicing class. You have classes that happened before here that did the knowledge-based ones. You're going to apply it in this class, and then you're going to synthesize this moving forward into your producing, directing, and thesis classes. So this is kind of a larger piece of the Bloom's puzzle. This is how this class works. So here's the breakdown. 40% for both your team project and your personal project. You're going to be required to be working on that. Now, when it comes to your team project, you can see down here that you have a couple of, there's about 10 assets that you're going to turn in. 9 of those need to be turned in by somebody on the team. Not necessarily everybody's going to turn that in. So for the script, for example, you all need to choose the script that you're going to use. We're going to doctor it a little bit in this class, and when you're ready to submit it and go into pre-production for it, you will submit it at that time. Now, who's going to actually submit that? That's up to you to decide. But whoever's on the team to submit that's going to submit that. So most likely the person that wrote that script, or the producer, or if the person that wrote it gave it to the director and said, do whatever you want with it, treat this as a real-world project, then the director is going to tweak some things, and then they will turn it in. So it's really up to you how you guys want to kind of do this, the turn-in procedures for that. The only one that's going to have more than one person submitting is going to be your production reflection. So at this point, when we get later on in the semester, you're going to have to reflect on what you did on your team individually. So the rest of it's all combined stuff. This is now a reflection of what you did, what worked, what didn't work, what you're going to do in the future. Maybe you're really excited about directing, and so you directed this project and you learned through this project that you hate directing and you want to go a different direction. That's the kind of stuff that you're going to reflect on. Or maybe you want to do cinematography and you worked on the project and you fell in love with it even more. I want to know why. I want to know how that process was. For your personal project, that's going to be the pre-production thesis project. You're going to create your pre-production thesis packet, and that's going to consist of a lock script, some key art, mood boards, storyboards, and animatics. You are then going to take those items, those assets, and bring them into producing. In the producing class, you're going to pitch to your faculty and show us what you're doing and get the green light to go. And at that point, you can start to actually work on what you need to start creating that project under the guidance of the faculty that are teaching that class. So that accounts for 40%. Both of those are 40% of your grade, which gives you 80%. At the end of the semester, just like most of my classes, this part is consistent. You're going to have a behind-the-scenes reel of your work in this process on your team script, on your team project. So if you were the cinematographer, I want a short reel by the end of this that kind of outlines a little small documentary that outlines your process of this film and kind of takes us on the journey with you. This is great to show future clients, to show you to show how you engage in projects moving forward. It's also very good for just fun stuff to have on your social media, things to share with your family, and most importantly, nostalgic moments that you get to keep and go, oh, back in the day when I didn't know anything, because you're eventually going to get to the great places that you're going to get to way beyond this. The last part's going to be participation. Participation means you're showing up and participating in the lectures, etc. That's pretty standard from all the other classes. So that's how that's a little bit different and how that breaks down for you. Now, the two projects that are in here, and they're bigger, there's a lot of smaller assets that go into these projects, but your team project and your personal project is what's listed here, and you'll see more of that inside of Canvas. Now, as far as assignments and submitting goes, this is just kind of standard stock from everything. Some of the assignments you're going to submit are going to be submitted as reflections a little bit, so you can read through this as well, but you'll see which ones of these fit and don't when it comes to Canvas. Course policies, of course, haven't changed, so please look at those. Watch the welcome video, the main one that goes over the syllabus a little bit more. I go into a lot more detail there if you need a refresher or if you haven't seen it yet. And last thing, campus enclosure snow days. We are going to lecture in this class. We're going to talk about the pre-production things that you need and how those work. So you're going to have lecture. The days that we don't have classes, either through snow days or if I'm sick or something gets closed down or something happens where we don't have to have class, I will have those modules open for you on Canvas in the yo-yo section. Again, yo-yo, if you haven't had class with me before that had it, it stands for you're on your own. So it's the high flex option that I have in case you're sick and you need me to open that up so that you can kind of keep up with the classes if I'm not there, snow days, things like that. If you want to look at the full syllabus for the university with all of the policies there, please click on this link inside of the document inside of Canvas. And last we have here is a topic breakdown by week, what we're going to talk about in this class, plus due dates and stuff. On the right hand side you'll see TP and PP. TP is team project, PP is your personal project, along with due dates, etc., all the way down so that you know exactly what you're working on and what to do. And this may not be exactly the same as your class right now, so don't rely on this image. Things might have changed since the time of this recording. Sometimes we do that. We'll move things around if I need to. So look at the syllabus inside of Canvas to know exactly what to expect. So speaking of Canvas, when you open up Canvas, you're going to come in here and you will see the Production 2 class right here. And when you click on that, come on into Canvas. Now the setup here looks very, very similar to most of my other classes with lectures and assignments and things, but there's some key differences that we're going to go over. First, at the top here, you already found this welcome, so you're watching this video now, so congratulations, you know where that is. Just a reminder of where that is now that you're here. The second part here is lectures. This is going to feel very similar to most of my other classes. These are the topics that we're going to talk about that week. There's some labs that are built in, and all you need to do is go into the week. I just clicked on week 1, for example, and it'll show you here what we're going to do that week. Again, it's not divided up by day because sometimes we'll get through a lot of it on day 1 with just a little bit of it on day 2. Sometimes we'll go half and half. Sometimes I'll need to push things over. Just depends on the dynamic and the needs of you as students in the classroom. I give myself a little leeway, but this is what I plan to cover for that full week. You don't necessarily have to travel anywhere outside of these links right here for lectures if you don't want to, because when you're inside of here, whatever you need to click on as far as projects go, you can click on here and you can get that information just by clicking like this. But if you want to have a little bit more control and look around, you're welcome to come back to the home page, and then now you'll see here all of your pre-production or all your production assignments for your team project, and those are going to be listed right here. And I'm going to go into detail about each one of these as we go through the semester, but it's just a broad overview of what you're going to look for. I also have on each one the week that I introduce what we're talking about. For example, we're going to talk about roles on week 1, the script on week 4, etc., all the way through. Notice that it's not necessarily in any kind of order because just the kind of the way that these work. So this will be do week 1, do week 4, do week 10, but I talk about this before we talk about table reads. It's just that table reads are due before the breakdowns. I give you a lot more time to work on the breakdown. So as you click into these, click into like mood boards, for example, you'll come in here and you'll see when it's exactly when it's due, what you need to turn in, and some examples from other classes if I have some good ones to show. And if I don't, hopefully I'm looking for yours to use as an example for future students. Likewise, if you come into your thesis pre-production assignments, this is all about your packet. When you click in here into the thesis packet, you can read this. I'm working on a video now. You'll see a video in here that kind of explains it a little bit more, so that you know exactly what to expect for this, and you can start to work on these projects or these processes here and be ready to go. And at the very bottom, you got the yo-yo classes that you can use to keep up if you need to, from week 1 all the way down to finals week. And then if you want to look at how the yo-yos work, just click on this how to yo-yo right here. Watch that video and you'll understand how that yo-yo class works a little bit more. So a little bit different than classes in the past. It's kind of makes sense, I think. It's pretty self-explanatory, at least the way that it's listed out there, as long as you have that syllabus with you if you need to go back to it, because it's a little bit new. But basically, you're turning in a team project, you're turning in your personal project. Any questions, comments that you need, issues that you run into, please contact me, and we'll have a good semester. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm looking to see how much you've grown from production 1 now that you've got a little bit of other classes under your belt. Maybe you found what you want to do in the industry, so now you could actually practice on it in a classroom environment. In this class, your project should be a big step up. The goal in this class is to produce a festival-worthy project, and if that means that it's good enough to just enter our local film festival for the program, then that's great. Then you can submit it and it'll be in there. But my hope is that as you work on these projects, that you're able to then go out there and present them to the world and hopefully get accepted into a film festival somewhere. So reach out to me if you have any questions. T.Breckheisen at MissouriWestern.edu. Look forward to this exciting class and this whole semester. It's going to be great. It's really going to be a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite classes. You're able to then go. Bye, Bamel.